The scent of wisteria and expensive perfume fills my lungs as I take a deep breath. 3 hours on the road from my cramped Chicago studio apartment to my family's suburban home, and I'm finally here. 3 years. 1,095 days buried in casebooks, racking up debt, surviving on ramen and coffee, all to pass the Illinois bar exam. Last Tuesday, a single email changed everything. Congratulations, you have passed the bar. When I called to share the news, my mother's voice filled with excitement. Wonderful, dear. You must come home Saturday night. We have a huge surprise for you. Now, as I step through the back gate in my best interview suit, the one I saved for months to buy, I freeze. 50-plus guests mingle on the lawn. A live band plays soft jazz beneath strings of twinkling lights. And stretched across the patio hangs a massive, cream-colored silk banner. Congratulations on your engagement, Daisy and Liam. My stomach drops as if I've missed a step on a dark staircase. There, in the center of it all, stands my sister Daisy, 27, stunning in a champagne-colored dress, flashing a 3-carat diamond ring to an admiring crowd. Beside her, smiling but somehow reserved, is Liam Vance, her new fiancé, who comes from actual wealth, the kind my mother has spent her entire life trying to access. The realization hits me like a physical blow. I'm not even a supporting character in this production. I'm just the catering staff for a party I thought was for me. A numbing sensation spreads from my chest to my fingertips. My smile freezes in place, a mask I've perfected after years of family gatherings. Sweat prickles beneath my suit jacket. I'd worn it thinking tonight was my moment of triumph, proof that my sacrifices meant something. Now I just feel like an idiot in a costume. Oh, Selah, you made it. Good. Good. My mother, Aubrey, spots me from across the lawn. At 58, she still looks 45, the result of religious skincare and selective memory. She approaches not with a hug but with a grip on my wrist. Her fingernails dig slightly into my skin. You look exhausted. All that studying, I suppose. Before I can respond, Daisy glides over, champagne flute in hand. Oh my God, Selah. Thanks for coming. I know you're busy with your little books, but this is so important to me. My throat tightens. Mom, I manage. You said this surprise was for me? My mother laughs, the sound like glass breaking. Of course. The surprise is that your sister is marrying into a wonderful family. Her voice drops, just for me. Now be a dear and go get more ice for the guests from the kitchen. Her words hit like a slap. Suddenly, I remember last Christmas. I hadn't come home. I'd stayed in Chicago to study for a mock bar exam. My mother called and guilt-tripped me relentlessly. Daisy cried because she missed you, she'd said. Your father is so disappointed. You chose your books over your family. I realize now. They weren't disappointed I was absent. They were disappointed I wasn't there to run support for Daisy, to make her look good, to fetch the ice. Tears well up. That pointless guilt, combined with this public humiliation, almost breaks me. I feel my shoulders curl inward, a physical manifestation of the shrinking I've done my entire life to fit within the narrow space my family has allocated for me. Then, across the lawn, I notice Liam watching me. Unlike the others, he isn't smiling or chatting. He's observing with careful attention, his brow slightly furrowed. I swallow my tears and straighten my spine. No, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. I'm not getting the ice. I think I'll go say hello to the guests. My mother blinks, momentarily stunned. This isn't the script she wrote for me, Selah, but I'm already walking away, my heels sinking slightly into the manicured lawn as I head toward the crowd. My hands are shaking, but I keep them at my sides, fingers spread. I feel something new forming inside me, something hard and cold and clarifying. 3 years, 1,095 days. I did that alone, without their help, without their approval. I don't need to chase their validation anymore. Behind me, I hear my mother's performative laugh as she explains to nearby guests. My elder daughter always so independent. I don't turn around. For the first time in 32 years, I'm not playing my assigned role, and it feels like the first real thing I've done at a family gathering in my entire life. The party hums around me like a swarm of well-dressed locusts, devouring canapés and champagne while I retreat to a quiet corner near the garden trellis. My throat still burns from swallowing tears. 3 years of academic effort to a footnote at my sister's engagement party, I press my back against the cool stucco wall, grateful for something solid to lean on. Voices drift from the other side. My father's distinctive baritone cuts through the ambient chatter. "Oh, Carter, your girls are so accomplished. I hear Sela just passed the bar." The voice belongs to Richard Whitman, Dad's golf buddy and business associate for 20 years. I hold my breath, waiting for my father's pride. His firstborn daughter, an attorney. Top 3% in the state. My Sela? Dad chuckles, the sound weary and dismissive. "Oh, she just passed some test. But Daisy? She's my retirement plan. This wedding is going to solve all our financial problems." The words land like a physical blow. Some test. 3 years of 18-hour study days compressed into a casual dismissal. I grip my champagne flute so tightly I'm surprised it doesn't shatter. The liquid trembles as I try to steady my hand. "Smart move with the Vance boy," Richard says. "Old money. Very discreet about it, too." "Liam's father sits on the board of 3 Fortune 500 companies," Dad replies. "This marriage, is exactly what we need right now." My mind races backward through a cascade of memories, rearranging them into a new, horrifying pattern. For 3 years, I've paid for everything myself: rent, food, books, bar prep courses. Meanwhile, whenever I asked about accessing my portion of grandmother's trust fund, $100,000 split between Daisy and me, Mother always had the same answer. "Your sister has urgent needs right now, just wait." I'd waited, and they'd borrowed my money, our money, to invest in Daisy's brand. The perfect clothes, the right connections. The calculated social media presence, all designed to catch a wealthy husband. I set down my glass and move silently along the wall, needing to confirm what I already suspect. Near the rose garden, Aunt Clara stands with my mother, her usually calm face flushed with anger. "I can't believe you did this to her," Aunt Clara hisses, gesturing toward the house. Mother's back stiffens. "Be quiet, Clara. Sela needs to know her place. Today is about Daisy. This has to work. This is the whole family's chance." "Chance for what? To keep spending money you don't have?" Clara's voice drops lower. "To keep draining the girls' trust fund? That's theft, Aubrey. Just Bree. It's an investment." Mother's smile remains fixed, her eyes scanning the crowd to ensure no one overhears. "Sela will thank us when this works out. The connections alone." Something shifts inside me. The hurt that's been festering since I arrived doesn't vanish. It calcifies into something harder, colder. My legal training kicks in, compartmentalizing emotions, focusing on facts and strategy. I'm no longer sad. I'm done. Across the lawn, Liam stands alone at the makeshift bar, staring into his whiskey as if seeking escape. The perfect opening. I straighten my jacket and cross the grass with deliberate steps. "Hi, Liam. I'm Sela, Daisy's sister." I extend my hand, professional and poised. "Congratulations. You must really love her to overlook this family." His handshake is firm, his eyes sharply assessing. He's not the pampered trust fund baby I expected. There's intelligence there. Caution. "Overlook?" Liam's brow furrows. I offer a professional smile, the kind I practiced for interviews. "You know, we're a lot." Understanding flickers in his expression, followed by something else: concern. Before he can respond, Aunt Clara appears at my side, wrapping me in a tight hug that smells like vanilla and sanity. "I'm so proud of you, counselor," she whispers fiercely in my ear. The makeshift podium appears on the patio, a small platform with a microphone, hastily constructed for this supposedly impromptu celebration. Aubrey Monroe straightens her pearls and taps the microphone, the feedback causing several guests to wince. The band falls silent. "Everyone, if I could have your attention," she announces, her voice honeyed with practiced charm. "Carter and I are simply bursting with joy tonight." I stand at the periphery, watching my mother perform. She gestures to Daisy, who floats forward in her champagne dress, tugging a reluctant Liam alongside her. "Our beautiful daughter has secured a most promising future," Aubrey continues, her eyes sweeping the crowd for maximum effect. "Daisy has always been our ray of sunshine. Even as a child, we knew she was destined for greatness." Carter joins them, champagne glass raised. "To my little girl and her extraordinary taste." Laughter ripples through the audience. "And to Liam Vance, welcome to the family. We couldn't have handpicked a better man ourselves." Not one word about me. Not a single acknowledgement of my accomplishment. 3 years of academic effort, reduced to invisible background noise at my sister's engagement party. But something strange is happening inside me. The sharp pain I expected to feel has transformed into something else entirely. My chest loosens, my breathing steadies. The shame and humiliation that followed me through the gate has evaporated, replaced by a profound sense of relief. I no longer feel anything to prove to these people. With steady hands, I reach into my suit pocket and withdraw my phone. I open the voice recorder app and press the red button, just in time. Daisy takes the microphone, giggling. "Oh my God, you guys are embarrassing me." She flashes her ring again, tilting it to catch the light. "I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight. This is literally the happiest day of my life." The speeches continue for 20 minutes, relatives, friends, business associates, all praising Daisy's beauty, charm, and the magnificent match she's made. I stand completely still, recording every word, every laugh, every toast to her future. When the formalities conclude, guests disperse to refresh their drinks. I slip my phone back into my pocket and turn toward the bar, only to find my path blocked by Daisy. Her perfect smile doesn't reach her eyes. The champagne in her hand isn't her first or third. "There you are," she says, swaying slightly, hiding in the shadows as usual. "Congratulations, Daisy," I reply, my voice surprisingly steady. She leans in closer, her breath sweet with expensive alcohol. "See, my nerdy sister? This is real success." She gestures to her face, then sweeps her hand down the length of her body. "Men don't marry degrees, they marry this. 3 years buried in books. And what do you have? A piece of paper and loans." I open my mouth to respond when I notice movement behind her. Liam stands there, his expression hardening as he hears every word. His face transforms to granite, eyes narrowed. Before I can speak, Aunt Clara appears at my elbow. Her hand closes firmly around my forearm. "Don't," she murmurs. "You're better than this." Daisy hasn't noticed Liam. She tosses her hair, waiting for my reaction, expecting tears or stammering defense. Instead, I look her directly in the eye. "You're right, Daisy. This is your success. Enjoy it." Her smile falters at my calm tone. She expected wounded pride, not this strange, cryptic smile. By the time she turns to see what I'm looking at, Liam has disappeared into the crowd. I follow Aunt Clara away from the center of the party, toward a stone bench beneath the wisteria arbor. The purple blossoms hang in heavy clusters above our heads, their sweet fragrance filling the night air. "I'm proud of you," she says, squeezing my hand, "for passing the bar, for standing your ground tonight. Thanks for being here. Listen, Sila, your parents, they've always been like this. It's not about you. It never was. I know that now." A relative calls Aunt Clara's name from across the lawn. She sighs. "Will you be okay?" "Better than okay," I assure her. Alone beneath the wisteria, I watch the party continue without me. The lights, the laughter, the carefully orchestrated display of success. For years, I've craved their approval, measuring my worth against their impossible standards. In this moment, I realize I don't need revenge. I don't need to expose them or cause a scene. I just need to win. I walk to my car and retrieve my laptop. Rather than returning to the party, I slip through the side entrance into my father's study. The room smells of leather and expensive cologne. I settle into his desk chair and power up my laptop. My email loads, and I click on the message from Kirkland & Ellis in Chicago. An interview request from one of the country's most prestigious law firms, received 3 days ago. I'd been too focused on my family's reaction to my bar results to even respond. "Miss Monroe, we were impressed by your academic record and bar exam performance. We would like to schedule an interview at your earliest convenience." I type a response, confirming my availability for Monday morning. Then I open a new tab and start browsing apartments in Lincoln Park, Chicago's affluent North Side neighborhood. Places I could afford on a Kirkland & Ellis salary. A movement catches my eye, a stack of papers on the corner of my father's desk. Curious, I slide them closer. A bank statement sits on top, clearly showing the trust fund my grandmother established for Daisy and me. The account that originally contained $100,000 now shows a balance of $65,000. Next to it lies an invoice from Chanel. $8,000 for a handbag. The very same handbag Daisy carried tonight, telling anyone who would listen that it was a little pre-engagement gift to myself. A smile forms on my lips as I pull out my phone and snap photos of both documents. Exhibit A, I whisper, sliding the papers back exactly where I found them. The music from the party filters through the closed windows, but it sounds different now, distant and irrelevant. I have evidence. I have a plan. For the first time since arriving tonight, I feel completely in control. Monday morning, I stare at my reflection in my laptop screen, adjusting my suit jacket, the same one I'd worn to that humiliating party. This time, it feels like armor. The Zoom interview with Kirkland and Ellis loads. 5 faces appear, senior partners with decades of experience evaluating talent. I straighten my shoulders. Miss Monroe, your bar results are impressive. Top 3% in Illinois. I smile, not the frozen one from Saturday's party, but something genuine. Thank you. I'm particularly proud of my performance in contract law. For 90 minutes, I field their questions, my answers precise as scalpel cuts. When they ask why I want to work at Kirkland specifically, I don't mention my family or their betrayal. Because I believe in excellence, and your firm consistently demonstrates that value. Tuesday afternoon, the offer letter appears in my inbox. 6 figures, a $50,000 signing bonus. I read it 3 times, my hand pressed against my mouth. The number doesn't change. My phone rings. My mother's name flashes on the screen, as if summoned by my success. I almost decline, but curiosity wins. Sela, we need to talk about Saturday. Her voice is cool, controlled, not the scolding I expected. What about it? I keep my own voice neutral, a skill I've developed through countless mock trials. Liam has been asking questions. About our family. About you. She pauses, the silence calculated. Daisy says he's been distant. I say nothing, letting her fill the space. We're having a family dinner this Saturday. Healing dinner. Her voice softens into something honey-sweet and utterly false. You have to be there. Liam needs to see we're a normal family. The manipulation is so transparent it's almost beautiful. I open the offer letter again, looking at the numbers, at my future. This Saturday? Of course, Mother. I'll be there. After we hang up, I accept the offer with 2 clicks. Start date, 2 weeks from today. I stand and walk to my tiny apartment window, looking out at the Chicago skyline. The realization settles like a weight. My family only operates on crisis and appearances. They've ignored me for 3 years, but now that I've potentially destabilized Daisy's catch, I'm suddenly essential. Fine. I'll give them both crisis and appearances. My phone rings again. Daisy this time. What did you say to Liam? Her voice cracks halfway through. I've never heard her cry without an audience before. He keeps asking me about our family and money. You're trying to ruin this for me. I lean against my kitchen counter. 27 years of being the dutiful older sister rising in my throat like bile. But I swallow it down. I didn't say anything, Daisy. My voice is smooth. Maybe he's just smart. I hang up while she's still sputtering. The phone rings again almost immediately. I ignore it. Then again. And again. Instead, I call Aunt Clara. Sela, I was just thinking about you. That party was a disaster, I finish for her. Listen, there's a healing family dinner this Saturday. Can you come? I need a witness. Aunt Clara doesn't hesitate. Of course. What time? 6. And Clara? Thank you. For everything. Friday afternoon, I'm reviewing my new employment contract when my phone lights up with my father's name. I almost let it go to voicemail but decide against it. Sela. His voice isn't angry. It's sad. Disappointed. The voice that used to send me scurrying to fix whatever I'd done wrong. You're breaking your mother's heart. I say nothing. You're tearing this family apart, he continues, each word precise. Is that big career in Chicago not working out? Just come home. Apologize to your sister. My fingers tighten around the phone. Don't let your ambition make you forget who your family is. Ambition, as if passing the bar, as if surviving 3 years alone, as if that was just some selfish indulgence. I'll see you tomorrow, Dad, I say, and hang up. The gaslighting doesn't hurt like it once would have. Instead, it hardens my resolve like steel in flame. Saturday arrives, clear and cool. I dress with care, another suit, but not the interview one. This is charcoal gray, severe and clean-lined. I slide the bank statement into a thin manila folder. It shows the $65,000 trust balance and the recent $8,000 transaction from Chanel. Last, I add a copy of my Kirkland & Ellis offer letter. 3 pieces of evidence. Exhibit A, B, and C. I check my appearance one last time before heading to my car for the 3-hour drive. My eyes are clear, focused. I no longer look exhausted. I look like exactly what I am, an attorney preparing for court. The drive gives me time to think. 3 hours of watching the Chicago skyline fade into suburbs, then into countryside, and finally back into the manicured neighborhood where I grew up. 3 hours to rehearse what I'll say. Because this isn't about revenge, it's about justice, it's about truth. I arrive at the house exactly on time, folder tucked under my arm. Aunt Clara's car is already in the driveway, parked behind Liam's sleek BMW. I take a deep breath, catching the scent of wisteria again. The doorbell chimes as I press it. I hear footsteps, quick and light. Daisy opens the door, her smile professionally bright but her eyes wary. "You came. It's not quite a question. I said I would." I step past her into the foyer. Behind her, I can see the dining room table, set with the good china. My mother arranging flowers with precise, agitated movements. My father pouring wine. Aunt Clara and Liam sitting with uncomfortable smiles. This is a performance, every bit as choreographed as that engagement party. But this time, I've brought my own script. I walk toward the table, the folder a shield against whatever manipulation awaits. Everyone turns to look at me. "Sela," my mother says, her voice artificially bright. "You're just in time." The dining room reeks of desperation. Mother's prized gardenia centerpiece, father's too loud laughter, Daisy's careful avoidance of eye contact, all of it designed to project normalcy. For 2 hours, we've engaged in this suffocating performance, while Aunt Clara observes with quiet dignity from the opposite end of the table. Liam sits beside Daisy, his posture stiff, his responses measured. Twice, I've caught him studying me when he thought I wasn't looking. When dessert is finished, Mother gently sets her fork down. It makes a faint clink against her favorite gold-patterned china. She speaks, her voice soft but cold. "All right, Sela," she says, folding her hands on the table. "You owe your sister and Liam an apology for your childish behavior at the party." The table goes quiet. Daisy leans forward, expectant, her lips curved in a premature victory smile. Father studies his empty wine glass. I say nothing. Mother's smile turns soft, venomous. "You should think carefully," she continues. "Liam's father is a senior partner at Sidley Austin. One phone call from him, and your little law career could be blacklisted in Chicago before it even starts." She straightens a knife beside her plate. "Now, apologize." The threat hangs in the air like smoke. I feel Aunt Clara shift in her chair, but my eyes never leave Mother's face. For a moment, I see her as she truly is, not the socialite, not the matriarch, but a desperate woman grasping at anything to maintain control. I smile, a cold, precise expression I've practiced in courthouse bathroom mirrors. "A senior partner at Sidley Austin? That's impressive." I turn to Liam. "Liam, do you know why I went to law school?" His eyes sharpen with interest. "Why?" "Because I believe in truth and evidence." I reach for my purse hanging on the chair behind me. The leather folder feels substantial in my hands as I place it on the table. "This family," I say, my voice clear and even, "is a fraudulent prospectus." Mother's face hardens. "What nonsense." I slide the bank statement onto the table. Trust fund balance, $65,000, and $8,000 for a handbag. I look directly at Daisy. "And that's just one purchase." "Mom lied about the party." I continue, tapping each piece of paper. "Dad called Daisy his retirement plan. And Daisy, you've spent $35,000 from our trust fund." Daisy turns white. Her hand clutches Liam's arm, but he's staring at the papers. "How dare you!" Mother screams, half rising from her chair. Father starts. "Sela, you're taking things out of context." "No," I say, standing up. "I don't just dare. I'm done." The room falls silent. For 32 years, I've been the quiet one, the reasonable one, the one who swallowed rage to keep peace. But not tonight. For 3 years, I paid my own way. I lived in a studio apartment smaller than your closet, Mother. I ate ramen while Daisy bought Chanel. I worked while you all spent my inheritance. I turned to Liam. You're a smart man. The decision is yours. From my folder, I extract the offer letter from Kirkland and Ellis and place it atop the bank statement. By the way, Mom, no need to have Liam's father make that call. I don't think Sidley can blacklist Kirkland. Mother's mouth opens, closes. For once, she has no script. I came here to say 3 things, I continue, gathering my purse. 1, I want my $35,000 put back in the trust by next week. 2, I've accepted a new job. And 3, I smile at my parents. I'm moving next week. Don't call me, unless it's about the reimbursement. Daisy finds her voice, high and shrill. You're just jealous. You've always been jealous of me. No, Daisy. I'm just finally awake. I glance at Aunt Clara, who sits perfectly still, smiling slightly. She doesn't need to speak. Her presence as witness is enough. With calm precision, I push in my chair and walk toward the front door. Behind me, chaos erupts. Daisy's shrieks bounce off the chandelier. Mother's voice rises to a roar. But cutting through it all comes another sound. Liam's voice, cold and clear. Stop. Both of you. She's right. Show me paper. I don't look back. The night air hits my face as I step onto the porch, and I breathe deeply for what feels like the first time in years. My hands should be shaking. My heart should be racing. But I feel only a profound stillness. Inside my car, I place both hands on the steering wheel. For a moment, I sit in silence, expecting tears or regret or something, but there is only certainty. I start the engine. The headlights cut through darkness as I pull away from the house where I was never quite enough. In the rearview mirror, the porch light grows smaller until it's just a pinpoint, then nothing at all. As I drive back toward Chicago, toward my life, I realize something. The validation I've craved all these years wasn't something they could ever give me. It wasn't theirs to give. It was always mine to claim. The November sun glints off Lake Michigan, casting golden ripples across the water. From my corner office on the 32nd floor of Kirkland and Ellis, Chicago unfolds beneath me like a promise kept. 6 months since I walked away from my family, and the woman staring back at me in the glass reflection is someone I barely recognize, confident, sharp, at peace. I straighten a stack of depositions on my desk when a knock interrupts my thoughts. Hey, Selah, says Marcus, leaning against my doorframe. His tie is loosened, a grin spreading across his face. A few of us are going out to celebrate winning our first big motion. The partners are paying. A party. For me. For us. For something I helped create. I'll grab my coat, I say, feeling a smile form, not the practiced mask I wore for years, but something genuine that reaches my eyes. My phone buzzes as I slide my laptop into my bag. Mom flashes on the screen, the 5th call this week. I stare at it for a second, my thumb hovering over the glass. Then I hit decline and tuck the phone away. I don't need their approval anymore. Later, walking home along Michigan Avenue, the wind carries the first hint of winter, but I barely notice. A small gallery catches my eye, storefront windows filled with abstract paintings, splashes of color that remind me of nothing and everything. Without thinking, I stop and go inside. Just browsing, I tell the gallery owner, who nods and keeps her distance. I stand before a canvas of blues and yellows, thinking how I never would have entered a place like this before. No practical purpose, no one to impress, just something that called to me. 10 minutes stretch into 30 as I move from painting to painting, simply because I want to. That night in my condo, I pour myself a glass of wine and open my laptop for a video call. Aunt Clara's face fills the screen, her silver-streaked hair loose around her shoulders. You look happy, she says. No preamble needed between us anymore. I sent you a plane ticket, I tell her. Come visit over Thanksgiving. I have a guest room now. Aunt Clara's eyes crinkle at the corners. I'd love that. About time I saw this fancy new life of yours. The next morning, I'm heading to a conference room when I notice Eliza, our youngest intern, standing frozen before a stack of documents. Her hands tremble slightly, the same way mine used to when I felt overwhelmed and alone. I change course and stop beside her desk. You okay? This legal memo, she whispers. It's due by lunch and I can't. Deep breaths. I say, smiling. I pull up a chair and sit next to her. You've got this. Let's break it down. Slow is smooth. The relief in her eyes is painfully familiar. That evening, I stand on my balcony overlooking the city I fought so hard to claim. The lights of Chicago stretch before me, a constellation of possibilities. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. I called off the wedding. Thank you for showing me the truth. Congratulations, Counselor Monroe. Liam. I read the message twice, then delete it. Whatever Liam does now is his choice, his journey, just as this is mine. I take a sip of water and lean against the railing. The air smells like lake water and possibility. 6 months ago, I was trapped in a web of manipulation, convinced I needed something I never had. Now I stand in a home I chose, in a life I built, with strength I've always had. I look up at the city lights and feel it rise within me, not anger or satisfaction, or even vindication, just freedom. 2 years later, that freedom has a new face. I'm rocking my 1-year-old daughter, Aria, to sleep, the scent of baby powder replacing the smell of stale casebooks. My husband, David, a kind, sharp-witted attorney I met sparring over emotion, wraps his arms around me from behind, resting his chin on my shoulder. My phone lights up on the nightstand. A text from a number I haven't seen in years. Daisy. Hi, Selah. I know it's been a long time. Mom and Dad have told me they apologized. Aria's first birthday is next week. I'd really like to send her a gift, if that's okay. My breath hitches. David squeezes my shoulder. What is it? My sister, I whisper, showing him the text. After all this time, after the apologies I never thought I'd hear, I don't know if I can. David is quiet for a moment, watching Aria's chest rise and fall. He kisses my temple. You don't have to do anything, he says softly. But, if you want to, just remember what you told me you once told an intern. He smiles, his voice the same one he uses to soothe our daughter. Break it down. Slow is smooth. Just slow and smooth. I lean back against his chest, closing my eyes. He's right. It's not a performance. It's not a war. It's just a new memo. And this time, I get to write it. I let out a breath I'd been holding for more than 2 years. I look at David, and then down at Aria, her small hand curled around my finger. This is my family now. This is my truth. My old life, with its ghosts and its anger, can't touch this. But perhaps, it no longer needs to be a war. Taking my phone, I type out a reply, my fingers steady. It's not forgiveness. It's not an invitation. It's just a new file. Thank you, Daisy. That's very kind of you. Aria would like that. I press send. The first brick, placed slowly, on a new foundation.